All right. Kala, why don't you take this next very long email?
Sure. This is, this is a long one. So I'm going to go ahead and toss out who it is right here at the beginning. And this email comes from Nikki7 from the Sergeant Anus server and is also Nikki Phi on the Leviathan server. So, everybody sit down and buckle up, because here we go. Let me preface this with saying I have a great love for this show, and I believe wholeheartedly with what you do and the vision you have for this show. You're firing on all cylinders lately, and that is the gold standard of Final Fantasy XIV podcasts, if not podcasts in general. And I listen to a lot of podcasts and other radio. Baba Booey. Grew up with various shock jocks and morning zoos since the 80s. I may not know production, but I know consumption and a good radio product when I see one.
Oh, well, that's very kind. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
Recent on episode 34, made possible by generous Patreon donors.
That's in the email. We didn't throw that in there.
That's in the email. Nero mentioned Reddit and the state of groupthink that exists there, as well as some of their rules regarding promotion. Let me start off by telling you what I think of Reddit. The good Reddit largely allows for more or less free speech on most topics. Run into someone acting like a tool, you can usually call them out for it, tell them they're an asshole, and at large, you won't really get banned or anything. I have more, on one occasion, told people of claiming their wastes of sperm and egg, even going to more extremes with my words, as one does in heated internet flame war.
Not words.
So long as it doesn't get too out of hand, you'll rarely see any sort of mod intervention. Unlike on the official forums of fucking Stalingrad, where disagreeing with someone's favorite color of ice cream will land you a castration and a permaban.
That is true. I mean, really, you can't. You have to be very diplomatic about the way you word your posts on the official forums.
Seriously, fuck rum raisin though.
Reddit has some theory crafting, some tips, tricks, strategies, and gameplay discussion on occasion that one can use to improve themselves as a player. This is why I even bother. A moderate amount of free speech and useful information. But here's the bad. Fuck you, Reddit, and your overly PC fucking horseshit excuse of a sub-community for Final Fantasy XIV. The majority of you are fucking neckbeard weeaboos that fap into your encrusted anime body pillows as you dream up the next Crayola masterpiece you'll shit out in between masturbation sessions about your 10,000th Bikini Cat Girl commission, which somehow manages to get 4,000 upvotes and floods the sub's first 3 front pages. What does this say about this sub's community? It says it's utter shit, filled with the filthiest of casuals who bombed you with downvotes if you dare bring up any sort of actual discussion that isn't considered kawaii. I'll bet even the female Redditors have neckbeards too, and I'm playing fast and loose with the term female. I mean, have you seen the sort of ham beast that try to pass off as cosplayers on Reddit in the past? I mean, put in a lot of hours, so I'm not built like Dwayne Johnson, but I smell what's cooking when you try to stuff a 300-pound pig into a Kmart Minfilia outfit. It's the stench of pork from those rubbing thighs.
I am not on board with this body. Not at all.
Jesus.
That's too much.
On the subject of downvotes, I, for one, do not care much for arbitrary internet points. I'm not going to care if what I have to say is unpopular or hurts some butts out there. In fact, I relish in the tears I cause when being brutally honest and calling someone out for being a shit player, while the rest of Reddit poo-poos them and demonizes the hardcore community. They've turned the word elitist into a bastardized version of the term, implying anyone who might go a bit above the average of the already low standards of skill of the FF14 player base into meeting some sort of exclusionary asshole player devoid of empathy, compassion, or wanting to help others with content. I consider myself in the hardcore category, and I've helped immense amounts of people for free clear content. I DF things on purpose because I know it must be nice to occasionally come across a well-geared tank who knows mechanics and can react to people's duty finder idiocy and lack of ability. I have broad shoulders and I don't mind carrying others to victory. When it comes down to brass tacks and pushing the upper content, there's a reason I'll be exclusionary. I am experienced enough to know when a player is going to be a detriment to the party. I look at your gear, your jobs, your lodestone, and based on a lot more experience than most play, I know you're not right for a savage level excursion and you'll be a hindrance. Oh, I can be an asshole when I want to. That's not due to being an elitist. It's due to knowing math and recognizing your former soldiery superheroes, trademark, and poetic Power Rangers, trademark, with your welfare tombstone handouts simply don't have the experience in situations that require you to react, strategize, think outside of the box to cover lapses that occur in the course of tackling the upper content. It's like Redditors will see this sort of player, deem them elitist, as this is some sort of dirty word, as if being good at this game is somehow a bad thing.
He's pissed.
I might be an asshole, but in different ways and for other reasons than you might think. It's your lack of intelligence and basic understanding of simple things that gets me pouring my salt in your direction most of all, not your filthy casual ways. I don't expect someone in, say, A3 normal to treat it like Savage and be on point passing me a tether. But hey you, Mr. Black Mage last week that actually ran through the middle puddle to somehow survive that while flailing your body and managing to steal it off me and explode spectacularly into the rest of the crowd of players? Yeah, fuck you and your Darwin Award-winning ass, you fucking idiot. Alex has been out for months and you can't be asked to pop open a guide? Then you'll put down your crusty pillow long enough to go straight to Reddit to complain that it's too hard when you can't bother to manage the most simplest of mechanics. Reddit celebrates and rewards laziness, lack of ability, promotes ideals that one should never go above and beyond the bare minimum required, then chastises the dev team for not catering to their every whim, their "it's my sub, I play how I want" sort of attitude, but you'll never get a chance to voice this because Reddit FFXI/art gets completely fucking ignored and your 4,000 potato armored cat girl badly drawn commissions litter the goddamn front pages for miles. You can't get through to any of them either. They're cookie cutter posters of each other, afraid that someone might downvote them, causing an avalanche of idiocy and negative internet points, fracturing their whittle weeaboo egos. I try to spread the gospel of LBR when and where I can, the doctrine of #getgood, and although I may be nice about things, the one thing I am honest. The too long didn't read for this is fuck you Reddit and your fucking cat girl pictures, your fucking groupthink. You can suck my dick if you can leave your mother's basement long enough to do so. You overly PC panty waste can collectively fuck yourselves bloody, sideways with cacti, and film it for YouTube, you weeaboo fucks. If cancer, AIDS, and Ebola made a three-way bastard child, it would be the FF14 Reddit.
Holy shit.
All right, look.
Wow.
First of all, Callow, well read.
Oh, thank you.
That was good. We got
Holy
more.
cow.
We got more to get
we
here.
do.
That's part one.
I think we should address this. And the first thing I want to commend you on is your imagery and your use of the English language and just that whole thing. That was
very well
beautifully,
written. Very well
beautifully written and obviously expertly performed by myself. I agree with a lot of it. I do side a little bit with Nika on the body shaming, right? No. But at the same time...
it's got to be a safe place for everyone.
Hold on. At the same time, what you did, right, that was fucking on point, and that was hilarious.
Now, I want to kind of echo the sentiments of Nikki because, I mean, you know, he said that this was sort of brought about by some of my comments on episode number 34 about the our FFXIV subreddit. And here's my beef with fucking Reddit, okay? Reddit is an awesome place depending on where you go. It can be a really fascinating place for discussion, and really interesting discussions can happen there. It just never happens in our FFXIV because of the way that it's moderated. And as Nikki pointed out, because of the fucking groupthink that goes on there. There's a great example that happened this past week. Joe Never has been hyping up his PvP nights when he's been doing PvP on the stream and trying to hype it up for all of the Aether data center to get involved. And one of the places that he posted was Reddit. And
whoa. This sounds a lot like blog spam to me.
Boy, doesn't it ever. And sure enough, it didn't take but, I don't know, 5, maybe 10 minutes for someone who, by the way, was not a fucking moderator to walk into that thread and go, this sounds like self-promotion, and all you ever do is post links to your Twitch and your blog, and this is bullshit. And you know what? That's the exact kind of thing that causes that subreddit to be absolute fucking insulated, insular garbage. It exists in a bubble, okay? And anything that penetrates that bubble that doesn't fall in line with the FFXIV dogma gets either downvoted to shit by the community or straight up removed by the moderators. And I have to blame the admins and the moderators over at Reddit. I'm not at Reddit, at FFXIV, because, you know, I have to, and I'll cop to this, when we had forums, we ran it in an extremely over-moderated fashion, and we were very involved with all all of the conversations there.
And we were very wrong.
And we were very wrong. It stressed us out, and it made for a really not great environment to have open and free discussions about things. And that's exactly what a lot of these FFXIV sub-communities end up doing. And that's exactly what our FFXIV does to themselves. And they've created an entirely insular community, and anyone who comes in that thinks outside the box or submits a project that they've been working really passionately on, it gets fucking dismissed summarily. And here's the thing, all right? I've spent a lot of time railing on a lot of different communities in Final Fantasy XIV, all right? I've called out the official forums, I've called out the stupid bullshit that gets posted on our YouTube page, and I've called out fucking guild work, okay? Reddit, you don't scare me, all right? We've had an email call you out, I've called you out, I've called your mods and your admins out by name. Our phone number's on the screen. Get your ass to the phones and defend your community. Why don't you defend your community? Why don't why don't any one of you come to this show? I'm inviting mods, I'm inviting admins. I don't give a shit at this point. If Reshef, who is I think the lead mod over at our FFXIV, if he wants to come on and try to explain the way that he tries to administrate his community, I'd love to fucking hear it, because I got a lot of criticisms to lay on that motherfucker. Okay? It is a insular shit community that quashes any amount of discussion and anything interesting. And you know what? Nikki nailed it. Fuck you guys. Fuck you. You're a fucking disgrace to this community. And you know what? You're never going to defend yourself because you don't have the fucking stones. You're pieces of shit, and you know the community's a piece of shit, and you're never going to defend it. Fuck you. Fuck you, Reddit.
How'd that feel?
That felt great. Let's move on to the next part of the email.
Okay, and while I read this next part of the email, if you could just get that raging erection to go back down, I'd really appreciate that.
Well, you're fine, sure, but we have to look at it.
Yeah, you're more than fine. All right, so next, so Reddit got it. Next on Nikki's hate list, criticisms for LBR.
Look out.
You know what?
See,
you know what? Let's skip this part.
No, because this is it. This is the thing. See, we aren't above this, right? No. We'll slate anybody there is, and we're willing to take whatever's thrown at us too. So here we go. I'm going to lay the salt on Nikki for us at LBR. My only real criticism for LBR might sound tiny compared to that mountain of salt I just shat out. I recently removed my main character to Sergeant Anus, spelled Sergeant Anus, due to happenstance and joining a raid group I found on FF14 recruitment. I also raided with another group on Leviathan, which is where I had been for the duration of Heavensward so far. Upon moving, I'm like, great! I can run into the hosts of my favorite show, shoot the shit, maybe run some stuff with them when I'm not raiding, and have a grand old time hanging out with the laser beam raptors. Only, the hosts are never on. And when they are, it's not for long. No, I get it. I get it. You guys are trying out other games. We're in a lull for content. So they say. I'm busy as fuck still doing, content. Nero, I recently leveled White Mage to 60. I'll hear your LOL Dark for an expert sometime, or any of the other hosts, if they actually fucking played the game. I've only ever seen Nika like twice. Hi, Nika. Usually logged in and AFK for vast periods of time. Jux I've seen once. Come on, guys. You host this awesome podcast and you're never on? Do you even FFXIV? The most I see is a Nero, and even that is pretty rare and not for long. Now, I know I play a lot of Final Fantasy XIV, upwards of 30 to 40 hours a week if I binge on weekends, and I know what it's like to juggle IRL, family, work, kids, spouse, etc., but I think even being a filthy casual has higher requirements than from what I've seen you guys actually in-game. Don't mistake this for a lack of love. It's quite the opposite. I love the show that much that I'm willing to ask, where the fuck are you guys? If I didn't, I wouldn't care. Now, I may not always be there live for a show because I'm, doing content on weekends, but you'll always catch me watching the LBR YouTube broadcast, trolling comments, and the occasional twittering here and there. You're radio people. You have some funding now. Get creative with the streams, and like Lil Wayne from last episode suggested, do something like stream your Savage 1 fails as a group. I'd watch the hell out of it, as would many others. A Final Fantasy XIV podcast should Final Fantasy XIV even in a lull. And yes, your dicks are good. Much love, Nikki7 from the Sergeant Anus server, also Nikki5 from Leviathan server. P.S. I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. I've recently canceled my premium Guildwork subscription, and I think it'll do more good as war bonds in the Patreon LBR.
Oh, look at that. Look at suck my dick, Guildwork. Fuck you. Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that.
And that is all 100% accurate.
I was like, that was a really fair criticism.
Yeah. I haven't been on the game in, I think, 2 weeks. The only time that I log on is to come to
Tuesday reset streams. Yeah.
And I haven't even been to the last 2 because I was sick one day and I was doing the 2 show outlines last Tuesday.
Yeah.
And also sneezing up a storm. So no, you know what, Nikki, you're 100% right. And honestly, earlier in your email when you mentioned wanting to help people and run people through old things, I thought, you know what? I think I'm gonna log on and take advantage of this. I'm gonna get me some dagger glamours. I still need my Leviathan dagger, my Remu one. So yeah, Nikki, I'm gonna start looking you up.
Let me try to mount a bit of a defense for myself here. And this is chronicled on the show.
Okay, and here has the chronic.
At least, yes, I do. At least 4 or 5, 6 weeks, somewhere in there, was having constant computer problems.
This is true.
So right in the right where most people were starting to hit burnout stage, I was actually desperately trying to fix my hardware problems.
We had nearly finished our ESO problems before you even got a chance to earn an ESO.
That's right. Yeah, and so I have been playing catch up, and so I didn't mention this when Lil Stomper called me out.
Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne. I like that. But I do feel like I should mention it now that, for a while, it broke my habit of logging in to not have my PC. And so I feel like I've actually gotten into the habit of when I come home, instead of sitting down at my PC like I used to, I sit down in front of the TV for a little bit and then I blink and it's like 9 o'clock because I've got that chronic. And so that's why, that's just, at least from my point of view, that's why I have not been around very much. I can't speak to these other motherfuckers, but
my defense, I've actually been logging in the last few days and leveling Paladin for some ungodly
Well, have you been checking in with Nikki? That's the important question.
Or at least with the Raptors.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, I haven't logged in the last couple days, but I know this email came before that. I don't know. He kept saying over and over again that there is content. I'm doing content. There's content. There's content. But from my point of view, it's hard for me to say that, I've done all the content. I log in almost every day and do my roulettes. I do my expert, I do my high level, low level, and trial all on Bard. I'm leveling everything. So I'm on my 7th job now. So I don't know if, people say there's content, level a new job. I am. I log on every Tuesday and Monday to do raids with my group who's pretty burnt out. I was on all day party finding for replacements. Well, so, I couldn't do anything that day, but I was on. And I've been doing Leviathan pony farms. I did that for 2 hours and didn't get a pony. I mean, I'm pretty much
we cut personal updates out of the show, Nika. We don't do them anymore.
What I'm saying is I'm dry for content, but when I log on enough and find things to do. So I didn't think that
I wasn't
present.
I would like to address something someone said in the chat really quick. Skuro said, "Shit, if hosts were like, yo, who wants to do an insert roulette or trial? I know me and many other Raptors would be down as hell." The problem with that, Skuro, is when we offer it publicly, we get crappy players like you wanting to join us.
Yeah.
And
then me and Juxta sit there on Skype oh, why did we invite Skuro? I'm kidding.
We're kidding. We
only hate you a little bit.
Then sometimes we get a whole bunch of people, and then I feel bad telling people that
Nika, someone else in the chat pointed out, and I forgot who it was though, but you should probably contact Nikki7 and have them write your roast monologue.
There you go.
Yeah,
yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Roast as performed by Nika.
No. I think it's a terrible idea because I do not believe that Nika could do Nikki7 justice.
Maybe.